Hey everyone, it's Carissa, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be filming a review for the book, The First 15 Lives of Harry August, written by Claire North. Now I've already filmed this review once, but I kind of rambled on and never really got my point across, so I'm hoping that this take will just be a lot better and more eloquent than I was in my first one, so here's hoping. This book is about a man named Harry August, who is a Kalchakra. Probably saying that wrong, but just go with it, okay? It's about this man named Harry August who is born, he lives his life, and then he dies. But then he is reborn into the same life with the same parents and same circumstances. But this time he'll have all the memories of his previous life. And this is a continuous cycle. So like the book says, it's called The First 15 Lives of Harry August. So you know in this book, we're up to his 15th life, and he has all the previous memories of all of his lives before. And in this book, there is a group called the Cronus Club, and they are kind of a police force for these Kalchakras, these people who live these kind of lives. And everybody in the Cronus Club has the same ability as Harry August. And one day when Harry is really old and on his deathbed, a girl who is also a Kalchakra, but from a future generation, so she's pretty young and he's really old, comes to his bed and says, "The world is ending. It's ending faster and faster than it should, and we need to figure out how to stop it." So this book is about his journey to find out why and how and what needs to be done to stop it. Alright, so I gave this book a 2.5 stars. It definitely was not my favorite book, but it wasn't a terrible book. Other people might like it, but for me, it just wasn't my style. I'm also going to give this a rating of 16 plus for any moms out there who are wondering if this is appropriate for their children. I think it's appropriate for teenagers 16 and older. I am very, very conservative, so you can take that into account when I say that as well. But there are just a couple things in here that I think are a little bit more adult than some things. Alright, so for the good of this book, I was really excited for this book. I love the concept of it. I love the concept of the plot of how you can die and come back again and live the same life, but you can kind of explore. You explore yourself, you explore your feelings, you explore the people around you and the world more than you could in one single life. And so that was really exciting, and I was super, super stoked just to start reading it. I also really liked the historical aspects of this book. It takes place in the early 1900s, I think 1920s to the future. I can't remember exactly when. I really enjoyed the historical things the author put in there, from all of his different lives and the different places he visited. That was really fun to see. Another thing I really liked about this book is it did make me think. It made me think about moral issues and faith and God in general. And it made me think, if I was in the position of a Kalchakra and I was someone who lived multiple of the same life and had memories of them all, how would I feel, and what would there be a different moral compass than I have now? And so I really liked the book for that. It did make me think, and that's kind of what I want with books right now, is things that make me think. So that was a really good aspect of it. All right, now the not so good parts of the book. Like I said, I was really excited to read this book, but it didn't work out for me. It took me a month to read, a little bit longer than a month to read actually. I can usually finish a book within a day or a week, just whatever, depending on how long it is and what else I have going on in my life. I kind of binge read a lot of things. When I do it all at once, and then I go a really long time without reading again. So for me to take an entire month to read a book, it's kind of a big deal for me. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I was hoping for. I liked the idea of the plot, but I felt no urgency in the plot. Like, it almost seemed like it didn't matter if they could save the world or whatever. It seems like it didn't matter to any of the characters, and it just didn't have that driving force behind it that kept me that kept me interested. I also think part of it was the writing was a little bit choppy. One chapter would be about his current life where he's trying to figure out what's happening in the world. But then the next chapter would go back to a previous life of his. And it was really hard to keep track of all of his previous lives. I almost wish that I had written down what happened in each life so that I could remember better and get a better sense of him. But the way it was written, it just felt really choppy, and it was just hard to get back into the original story when you went back to his previous life. It just kind of felt like an old man telling stories that only kind of relate to what you're trying to talk about. So that's how I felt about that. Also, I really did not enjoy the characters. It's not that I hated them. There weren't any characters that I hated. I just felt like they were all flat. None of them had any real emotional growth. The main character, Harry August, had a little bit, but it was hard. It was hard to follow his growth because the writing was so choppy, and it was hard to follow along with what had happened in all his previous lives and where it was just hard to follow along with it being so confusing that way. All right, so another thing I want to mention is there is a drug trigger in this book. He does experiment with some things for about 2 pages, and for me that's kind of a big deal. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but I hate in the media how they portray drugs and drug abuse and things like that. And so if that bothers you, just be aware, or if it's something that you or someone you know is dealing with, it's in the book. Also, there is a little bit of violence in this book. It's not really too bad. There's nothing too gory or too detailed about anything. I'm just making you aware that it is in there. And then also there is mention of prostitutes. So that's also, those 3 things combined are kind of what made me give it a 16+ rating. Obviously, you know your children and what they can handle. That is just my opinion on this book. So overall, this book just wasn't my thing. Some other people may like it, but for me it was just okay and not my favorite writing style in general. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you have read this book, please leave a comment down below and let me know if you liked it, if you disliked it, if you agree with the things I say, if you don't agree. It's always fun just to discuss with other people who have read the book as well. So leave those down below. Also, if you have any suggestions on how I can improve my videos or things that you want to see, please let me know, because I'm always willing to work on things and to try something new. Anyway, thanks guys. Bye!